Sequilibrium, sequilibrium. Two guys sound like they're sucking helium. Sequilibrium, sequilibrium. Sitting on their freaking bums.
What are we talking about again? What are we going to talk about again today?
Oh, no, there's something about hearing your voice, though, through the headphones. It makes me happy.
Does it? I mean, it sounds so stupid on my end, but that's just kind of what people say about their voices.
Well, that's because we're jackasses and we're always joking around, and I'm sure you assume that I'm just being some smart ass in
I don't know.
some way.
If anything, like, you are the voice of this podcast because your just delivery is just like, hey, so cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So like when John commented on that post about how he could listen to your voice all day, I was like, yeah, that's true. I could listen to Chad's voice all day.
I figured he was talking about
I
your
thought he was
voice.
talking about you.
Oh.
Because you're just like, yeah. And I'm like, that was a quick impression of the Halloween bit that we posted on the Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all that. You know, the shit you should be following, that if you listen to this podcast, then you show interest in things that we do other than this at Sequilibrium Podcast on all platforms. But we do skits now and shit, and that shit's funny. And Chad puts a lot of work into these video clips. So, you know, come by and check them out, give them likes, give them shares, do all that dope shit.
I do.
Yeah, see, and Chad's got so much to say right there.
Yeah,
you know?
no, it's a lot of work for sure.
Yeah, and it's amazing. So we want it to be seen because it's fucking hilarious. So check that shit out. Anyways, welcome to Sequilibrium, Mike.
Chad.
And today is Ghostbuster 2 day. Finally. We were going to do it a week ago. You weren't feeling so hot. Basic bitch flu going around.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And so we had to put it on hold, which I was fine with because then I got to play Call of Duty more. That was pretty rad.
Yeah, you didn't seem too upset.
Not at all.
News.
No, I've actually been really involved with playing with my toys. I've been taking lots of pictures with my toys.
I noticed you sent me one.
Yeah,
the Joker.
It's pretty awesome
on his motorbike.
So yeah, and I recently acquired a huge vintage Ghostbuster lot of like role playing shit. Like I finally got a proton gun. I got a ghost trap. I got a bunch of other guns. So like it just fell in that perfect time with us planning to do the Ghostbusters sequel. And we already did Afterlife, and we already talked about our feelings about the first Ghostbusters. So something might come along because, I mean, I have so many things that are like Ghostbuster related.
Yeah. See, and I was fearful. I like variety, you know, especially with our podcast being that it's so young. We've done a lot of movies at this point, but we really haven't done enough movies in the amount of time that we've been doing it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And right now it's like Beverly Hills Cop, Ghostbusters.
Man, that fucking wore me out. Man, what was I thinking? Let's do Beverly Hills Cop 3 next. No. Well, this was because my buddy Ian requested this movie because he's a big Ghostbusters fan. Now, like, Ian and I have been friends for a very long time, and we have just recently reconnected. We've just been like super talking about fucking vintage toys and shit, and so when Ian and I were like early 20s, we're talking like 20 years old, 19, I'd say 2021 maybe. I bought a mini DVC camera, and we filmed a movie. It was called Jason 11, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
Takes a dump. And the story was that he sees us camping, follows us because he's really got to take a shit, and he kills us in our apartment. And so it's my buddy Josh. There's two Joshes in this story. So it's Josh 1, Josh 2. I think Josh 2 is my buddy Joe's brother. I can't remember his name, but for the sake of it, we're just going to stick with Josh 2. And then Ian. And so Josh 1 is super tall. He's kind of got that Jason build. And so I had a Freddy mask, like the latex pullover, and a hockey mask. Perfect for fucking Jason.
Sure.
I mean, it was a great fucking combo. Josh had flannel. So we went to Walmart because we were going to film like Jason stalking us in there. And then we were going to be disruptive. And then I was like, we got there and I'm like, well, my mom works here. I can't cause a scene. So we do it outside. And so Josh kills somebody. I can't remember who. And Josh, too, goes, let's get the fuck out of here. So perfectly. This lady fucking ducks behind a van as if something was really going down.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then we shot the scene where like Ian is in the bathroom and fucking Josh, as Jason, kicks the door in and fucking slaps him across the face with this fucking prosthetic fake Halloween foam leg, and then shoves his face into this bathtub that we filled up with water, for the kill scene.
Yeah.
And then fucking pounds on his back with the fucking fake leg. Oh my God, it was so fucking funny.
Do you still have this?
Oh yeah, now that I have the camera, I still have the tape.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
yeah, and then the end scene was like Jason taking a poop. Like we filmed it where we're all dead, in the living room, and then you get to the bathroom, and then like there he is, like ooh, sitting on a toilet. It was so funny.
That same noise coming from him.
Oh yeah. He was grunting.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's shit we used to do.
That's great.
I haven't seen him in 16, 17 years. Because we all spread out basically.
Yeah, I made movies when I was real little, but they were, who knows what they were about. I've lost all that.
I mean, really, that's the only one we ever did, and like the whole like plan was like, this is what we're gonna do with the fucking camera. Mm-hmm. And it's Ian has a Ghostbusters tattoo, so it's like also
sweet.
very perfect that we're gonna be doing Ghostbusters too.
Well, I'm happy. Yeah, Ghostbusters too.
Now talk in your microphone, maybe a little bit louder, so the people can
Taking
hear you
after
better.
my daughter.
There you go. Yeah. I'm going to have to like teach you. So like you hold your thumb like this, and this is how far away the microphone should be.
Hey, buddy, I've dealt with microphones. See, that's more like my singing mode. If I get up and I start rocking out, this is how I'm going to hold the microphone.
If you were rocking out, who are you rocking? Who are you supporting? What band are you supporting?
If I'm rocking out.
Yeah.
If I'm rocking out.
You're holding
hard.
the microphone like this. Who are you about to say? And stick around for
Deftones.
Fuck yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you listened to Crosses?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Really?
I've been so out of touch with music for a long time.
May I recommend Goodbye Horses by Crosses?
Okay.
It's awesome. I mean, fucking Chino's voice. Have you ever heard their Duran Duran cover, The Chauffeur?
Yes.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And they're also, they do a Depeche Mode song too. I can't remember which. I don't remember, but when we talked in the first one, did you ever watch The Real Ghostbusters?
The Real Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
What was that? The
cartoon.
animated series? No, not really.
No.
I mean, I saw it when I was a kid, but it's not like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or any one of a handful of others.
I'd say out of all the cartoons that I watched as a kid, Ghostbusters were the ones that I had the one that I had the most toys for.
Huh.
Like I had all the dudes, I had Ecto-1, I had Stay Puft, I had Slimer, and then I had all the Fright features, and that's it. I never had the house. I never had until recently. But like growing up, it was always the ones I had the most of. I just loved The Real Ghostbusters. And there's an episode that begins at the end of the first one, which is awesome. So like they're supposed to get rid of their suits because it's covered in all this ecto slime. Mm-hmm. And then it creates clones of them. It's awesome. It's so fucking rad. It's almost like that would have been a rad Ghostbusters 3. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched
Ghostbusters. We haven't even started. There's a lot to say. about Ghostbusters.
Why don't you take it away then?
I mean, the characters themselves, they're great. Egon, I think definitely my favorite after watching it again.
Harold Ramis.
Yes.
Where the fuck's my water? There it is. Yeah, so I watched part 2 recently, and I know we're gonna watch it, so I'm not gonna like really dive too much into it. But I like Janine a lot more in the first one than I do in the second one.
Really?
I mean, I don't know. I love. There's just something about her being like how she clung onto Egon, and like she was trying to relate to him. I just love that. And then the other version of her is like also really cool, but it's like as if there were like two different versions of Janine. Not that this one evolved into that Janine. Mm. Do you know why the cartoon was called The Real Ghostbusters?
I don't.
I don't know if this is true, but there was a Ghostbusters cartoon from the 70s. Totally unrelated to this.
Weird.
I was just thinking about that. But that is like one of the biggest differences that I don't like. Almost as if like now Ghostbusters 2 does not exist in the Ghostbusters universe.
Yeah, but within Ghostbusters fandom, it always will.
I mean, like I said, I watched it recently. I fucking love it. I can't wait for you to watch it, and then we can talk about it in a more Ghostbuster free environment.
Yeah, and I think earlier, I think I've seen Ghostbusters 2 more than the first. I think it's one that came on TV more when I was a kid.
See, it was the other way around for me.
Really?
I only watched one because we had one. I never watched. The only time I watched 2 is when it was on TV occasionally.
Yeah.
But I mean, I grew up not liking it as much as I liked the first one. And my opinion is like so much different after watching it again recently.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters 2 is so much better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's almost a shame that it's a 55 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, I don't get why we were brought to believe that this movie was bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's awesome.
Does it seem to you? It seems to me in the first one, and they don't really give a backstory on it, but it's almost like Peter. It's almost like the other two were kind of best friends for the longest time. They thought up this whole business, and Peter came along maybe within the past few years.
No, I think they all work together.
Yeah,
I think they were all in. I think Egon and Ray were more on the intellectual level, where they were both at the same level, and Peter's a little bit behind him because of how sarcastic he is.
Yeah,
I mean, look how he was like with the woman during the ESP test. I mean, Ray's not going to do shit like that. Ray's more about the science. Ray doesn't care about that type of shit. Yeah. The way Peter was so wanting to help Dana, not because of her problem, because she was cute.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite scene in the movie is the apartment scene. That's the bedroom, but nothing happened in there. What a crime.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so funny. But he's a scientist, but he's not Egon and Ray scientist. And I love fucking Winston. This better be worth this isn't worth $11,500 a year. So that means Winston's only getting paid $11,000 a year to do this fucking job. Would you do that job for $11,000 a year in 1984?
Well, and he has the worst part too, especially when they're like, "Yeah, the containment unit is down." He's like, "And that's a bad thing?" It's like, yes, yeah. It is.
Well, because he's not about the science.
Well,
he's just like,
right.
If it's got a steady paycheck, I'll believe in anything.
Yeah.
You know, he don't give a fuck. He's literally applying for a job at Target.
Yeah.
Whatever you got, I can do. And then Ray and Peter are just so fucking tired. They're like, whatever, you're hired. Let me train you on how to simply press a button to, proving that you don't need a college degree to do certain things that would require it.
Yeah.
The light is green, trap is clean. Every time I used to make keys at work, and I switched out those cartridges.
Oh, I bet.
I used to pretend I was inserting a ghost trap.
Absolutely, you would.
Open the lid. There was those 2 lids that you had to open. Boom, boom. To
right.
Yeah, you know. So it always made me feel like I was a fucking Ghostbuster. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter, though, he never skips on the joke. That's what I love. Never ever. You know, when they're destroying that dining room, and he's like, "Wait, hold on. I've always wanted to do this." You know,
and the flowers are still standing.
yeah. I mean, it's always there with them.
Yeah, that's why I thought the scene that was so weird when Ray was like, "Nice working with you, Dr. Vakeman," and he just like glares at him, and then like shakes like the proton was really the what is that thing called? I don't remember what their proton guns were called. But like the stream was really coming on, but just the way he looked at him was like, there's not a moment when he can be serious, and this is a moment where he's probably supposed to be serious, and he's just like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Right?
Yeah. Like he doesn't say, "You too, Ray," or like says a joke. He's like, "This is my serious, and this is a serious." It's like the way I feel when Chris Rock goes, "Oh no," when Bethany dies in Dogma.
Yeah.
It just sounds so fake.
Right.
And the way he looked at him just looked so fake.
Yeah.
Because he's always the joking type, so you can't be serious.
Yeah.
I like to do this. I like to torture them.
Yeah.
That's what I say to myself every time I listen to a sad song.
Trying to think of a couple others from Peter. Just real subtle things.
Yeah,
you know?
when he like is in her apartment and he sticks his head through the door and goes, "No kiss."
Yeah.
And the way he walks, and then Lewis is like, "Oh," and gets locked out.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
Everything Peter does is so funny. I don't know when they're fucking drinking after they get fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Egon, your mucus. It's happened to you before? First time? Yeah, they're fucking great, dude. Bill Murray's fucking fantastic.
That's almost one of my favorite scenes with Aykroyd is just his nodding in that scene.
When it's the first time it's happened to him? Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I
Listen,
love that.
Do you smell something? I love that.
So the whole concept of just capturing ghosts, too. You know, they don't go into really the whole science of the traps, obviously, and the containment unit.
Yeah.
But obviously you can't kill what's already dead, which is why you just need to store them. And I love that.
Oh, in the cartoon, they went inside the containment unit.
Oh, that's great.
And it was like a whole, like a dimension just where ghosts lived and like
nice.
just fucking congregated with one another. And yeah, it was rad. It was just like they created a world for them. And that's what I didn't like so much about the other Ghostbusters movie, the Answer the Call, not the Who You Gonna Call. That's what they refer to it as. Mm-hmm. They killed the ghosts. Like the proton guns killed the ghosts. And you're like, they're not. How do you know that you're killing, like, some ghosts are good, some ghosts are bad? You know? I don't know why there's a PETA for ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't know why that upset me so much, but it like was, I mean, you grow up with the cartoon and how much you love Slimer, and it's like there's an episode of the cartoon where Slimer's about to die and it's fucking sad. Yeah. Like it's with Sam Hain and he's like controlling all the ghosts. Dude, the fucking cartoon's rad, dude.
You look emotional.
I'm feeling it a little bit. I'm feeling a little bit. That's why I love that they had the Slimer in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how smug Egon is. Just his real matter of fact. Like, looking at the guys like.
Yeah, I love Egon so much, but he's not a slapstick funny. Like, so this is my Harold Ramis introduction as a child. So to find out that he's like this fantastic comedic writer, like he wrote this movie, I didn't fucking know that as a kid, you know? I just was like, you know, Bill Murray is the fucking comedic one in the group.
Yeah.
But like getting like finally like full circle, and it sucks because it was like almost well after when it was right about the time that he was about to die. You know, I think the last thing I saw him in was Knocked Up, Seth Rogen's dad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
yeah, and I didn't know about Stripes. I mean, I knew it existed, but I didn't know he was in it. And there's like so many of the other things that I didn't know about Egon.
Huh.
Yeah, he was never my favorite because he was the science nerd.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think
Vakeman's the best.
I think he is my favorite.
Vakeman's the best.
And it's just that whole dry thing too. Like he could be intentionally trying to be that dry comic some of the time, even though it doesn't feel that way.
Egon, this reminds me of the time you were about to drill a hole in your head.
Oh yeah, that would have worked. That would have worked if you didn't stop me.
Yeah, and that would have worked if you wouldn't have stumbled on that. Anyways, let's watch
Let's watch the outtakes, you son of a bitch. I bet it's there.
Let's watch Ghostbusters 2.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Ghostbusters 2, Chad.
Hot diggity dog, Mike.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Holy shit, Ghostbusters 2.
That's what I'm talking. It sounds like you're announcing a fucking minor league baseball game. The Georgia Ghostbusters.
You know the one thing I dislike? I hate that they changed the patches
To the 2?
to the 2.
Yeah.
Makes sense for a movie poster, for advertising. Why? Why?
I mean, because they're back. They're back again.
Fuck that. I tried justifying it while we were watching it.
I mean, this is me trying to justify it. Like I'm trying to justify how Egon didn't get pulled into the fucking traps in Afterlife.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no reason.
Has that bothered you
to
since I brought it up?
You know, I really haven't thought about it, but when I watched it again last week,
Yeah.
I thought about it again more. Like,
Sure.
how did he? I mean, it did almost take me out of the crying moment of it, you know, where it's just
Sorry,
like,
buddy.
I'm feeling Egon. Everyone's so stoked he's back. He looks at them, he smiles, but he remains helping Phoebe. And then I'm like, how doesn't he get sucked into that trap?
See, eventually, I think even if I wouldn't have brought it up, this
I would
most
never have
recent,
thought it.
You might have.
No,
You might have.
no, because it would have taken the whimsy away out of it.
Yeah,
You
well.
know, you kind of ruined it for
So
me.
you're kind of subconsciously not wanting yourself to realize it.
no.
So you can have that moment
No.
when you watch it.
Yeah, I got to pretend that it
Right.
doesn't happen. But then it's like you're watching it and there's no way pretending because it's like clearly right there. And the question is, how the fuck does he not get sucked into the trap? I mean, do you have to be shot with the proton stream to be susceptible to being sucked into the trap?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how it works? I don't
Maybe.
know. I mean, maybe that is how it works.
Maybe he
And that's how-
altered them before he died. Smart guy. Maybe he had all this planned.
Knowing that he was going to have to be a
Yeah.
ghost to help out his future granddaughter. Well, future, he already knew she existed.
I'm here for you, buddy.
I appreciate that. You're changing the narrative and making it better
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
What was the last time you watched Ghostbusters Part 2?
You know, I bet I wasn't even 13.
That was the last time?
I
Okay.
bet so.
Okay, so in that like 40-year time difference, how do you feel about this movie now?
I feel like I like it probably about as much as the first, to be honest.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid, I told you while we were watching it, and being really scared of the painting.
Oh, totally.
That they're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
frightened
The
by throughout
decapitated
film.
heads in the subway.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And I didn't remember that, to be honest with you. But yeah, the painting itself, I remember it just being one of those things that scared me. Could be why I wasn't into Ghostbusters all that much.
Really?
Because
Really?
It frightened me to that extent.
That's nuts. That's crazy. When you think about ghosts, though, you think of like people and not fucking demons. And
Right.
and what is that? A Rancor ghost
Yeah.
that was on that like architectural art piece, whatever the fuck that thing is in New York that I don't know a damn thing about.
Right.
But you know what I'm referring
Yeah.
to. Those aren't fucking ghosts. Those are monsters. Like the coal miner wanting coffee, that's a fucking ghost. The taxi driver, that's a ghost in the first one. The people showing up on the Titanic, those are ghosts.
Right.
But what the fuck are those things? What
Yeah.
was Slimer before the afterlife?
Yeah. No, exactly.
And the cartoon was the same way, where they're like they're not ghosts, conventional ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and I kind of like that. I kind of think that's awesome.
I mean, I don't think the lines were as good in this one.
I think they were great, but I also think that they went on too long.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Dana and Peter apartment scene. I think that went on a little too long.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there were scenes that probably weren't really necessary to keep the story moving.
Yeah, and this was 25 minutes shorter than the first one.
Was it really?
Yeah,
I felt like it was 25 minutes longer.
Or
at some time, at some moments. Like
yeah.
I mean, like I said, why were we made to believe it was such a bad movie? Why is it a 55 on Rotten Tomatoes? Sure, there are longer scenes, but they're not terrible.
No, I never thought it was a bad movie.
I did.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
in comparison to the first one. But
Gotcha.
when you're still comparing, when I'm comparing it now, I'm not comparing it negatively. I feel more elements of the real Ghostbusters, the cartoon, because that came out in like 84, 86, and this is 89. So the cartoon had already ended at this point. I think the cartoon ended in 89 or 90. But the ghosts felt more cartoony.
Yeah. I need to watch it.
How
many episodes?
There's a lot. It's a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I have the box set, but it's on what streaming service? We won't go through the list, but it is on streaming service. I think it's on HBO actually.
Yeah. It might even bring me back. I mean, I might have seen. Fuck, I might have seen them all. To be honest, that's how bad my memory is.
Really?
Yeah.
I definitely didn't see them all. I've seen handfuls. I do go back and put it on though as background noise.
Hey, what's the secretary's name again?
Janine Melvitz.
Janine.
Melnitz.
I mean, as much as I love Rick Moranis, I really did hope that Janine and Egon would have formed a relationship between the time we saw him in the first.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, they took her completely different. Like, what happened in Janine's life where she went from being that, like, I play racquetball myself, to, like, all of a sudden being, like, wearing leopard fucking jackets, going to CBGB to see the fucking Ramones.
And didn't you say you liked her in this one more?
I like her in the first one more.
Okay.
But given that this is a completely different movie than the first one, in a lot of ways, I like this version of Janine just as much as I like the other version of Janine.
That. I would agree.
I think they're both fucking awesome, and they both work in the elements, the same elements. It's almost like the first one is like Evil Dead, where they were like, let's make a serious movie. Oh, wait, we made a funny movie. Let's make it again, but this time intentionally funny. Mm-hmm. And I think because I feel like there were more serious elements in the first one than there were in this one.
Yeah, as much as I agree with that, though, I still would have preferred her and Egon getting together and some dynamic there.
I mean, that's now the narrative. That's kind of the narrative.
Yeah.
With Afterlife, when Janine's like kind of like, oh, we had a thing. It almost seemed like that's what she was hinting at.
That's true.
But I also like the idea of Janine and Lewis getting together. Like, finally, Lewis getting some recognition. I fucking love it. He was my favorite character in the first one. I mean, he's so funny. It's Rick Moranis. He's great. Of course, he couldn't not be funny. Yeah. But seeing him everyone's different.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like, even fucking Winston, he's got a different hairdo. He's got like a different attitude. He doesn't have the mustache. He's not that anymore. He's like someone else now. He's his own version of himself, new person. And Lewis is the same. He's the accountant nerd who locks himself out of his apartment.
Yeah.
I want to have a baby right now. Yeah. Like that. I love that he didn't change, and I love that he got Janine.
I mean, it's weird. it's kind of weird they brought that character back at all. I mean, he was great in the first one, but to bring that character back for the sequel, it's like
I don't think it would
to
have.
feel that was necessary.
I don't think it would have worked without him.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have worked without him at all. And I do find it a little bit annoying at the end when they treating Janusz the same way they treated Lewis. You know, like, oh, you experienced this and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, yeah, I did. Blah, blah.
Right.
So it's kind of like, you know, doing those same shit over again because you couldn't really think of what to put in that moment,
Yeah.
you know? Like, oh, this is the Lewis character in this movie, so let's just do that all over again.
Rick Moranis from Ghostbusters or Rick Moranis from the Honey I Shrunk the Kids
Ghostbusters.
series? See, I would put them on level with each other.
No.
He's
This one's way better.
iconic
This one's
in
way better.
those.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, to me, this is the better version of Rick Moranis.
Yeah, see-
well, Bob and Doug McKenzie as well.
I would prefer the fucking shrinking machine. Well, no, they're right up. They're on par with each other.
I mean,
would
maybe
say.
we should do Honey, I Blew Up the Baby because that's a terrible Rick Moranis sequel.
I love Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. Almost, I would say, not exaggerating, half as much as I love Weekend at Bernie's. Part
Wow. I hate Honey, I Blew Up the Baby.
Do you?
I hate Nick is such a little asshole. And, I mean, it's been forever since I've seen that movie. I mean, it's probably the last time I watched it, I was at babysitting age.
Yeah.
You know, it was probably the last time I watched that movie. What were some of the other shit that I was going to say about Ghostbusters 2? I don't remember.
You know, even though it worked, using whatever they used to make the Statue of Liberty walk in that whole fucking scene. It's just a weird creative choice as far as I'm concerned.
Does she got hinges on her knees that we didn't know about to make her walk with ease? Is her gown not made out of steel but cloth for mobility purposes?
Well, and doesn't that just sound daunting? Like when you're writing a sequel for Ghostbusters 2, like, oh yeah, we could do all this cool shit with this money, but the Statue of Liberty, spray it with slime. I mean, it just seems so fucking lazy and stupid at the same time because it seems like it would take so much fucking effort to accomplish.
How much slime did you have to
How much
spray
slime did you
in
have?
that fucking, like, how much does it take to get her joints moving?
Right.
And how does a Nintendo Power Pad work in that? Like, does she know that up is move forward
Right.
and go left is go left? Like, does the slime know that?
Yeah.
I mean, when they were writing it, there's like, fuck it. They don't need an explanation. No one's going to know this shit. Who fucking cares? There's not going to be a podcast in the future that's going to ask these kinds of questions.
I know. And it works. It's fine. It's
I don't
great.
give a shit.
It's
I really
great.
don't give a fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, how'd they get the that was the people's complaints, is like, how did they get the statue to move? You know, as far as why is this a bad movie? Oh, it's so stupid. Suspension of disbelief, whatever.
Well, for me, it wasn't like, how did they get it to move? It was just that decision in general.
I guess it is pretty ridiculous. I mean, no one really is asking the science of how to get the Statue of Liberty to move so they can go out and fucking do it. Well, it worked in Ghostbusters.
Well, let me tell you, the
Wait,
slime works in a completely different way than they express in the movie.
What kind of slime are you using to get? Are you using mood slime?
Well, you better be.
Yeah. What was there was something else too. Oh, every time we get going, and then I fucking forget what I wanted to like talk about it. I don't know. I don't have general gripes about it. I loved it.
No, that's great.
I love it. I can't wait to go home and like play with my Ghostbuster toys. To be honest, I was looking on eBay for more fucking toys to buy, and I'm like, $1,000 for Ecto Glow. Janine, why not?
An Ecto Glow Janine?
Yeah, so it's like the last of the series they made, and they were like they all have their their form, figure, whatever, but they glow in the dark, and they say like Ecto on the side, and they have a different head you can put on that glows in the dark. And
Janine's worth $1,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the whole set, all 5 of them, because there's the 4 guys, Lewis and Janine.
Oh.
And all 5 will cost you like $8,000.
Holy shit.
In good condition. Like you can get like opened for like $200 to $500 depending.
Yeah.
I mean that's a big range, but that's also a varying degree of like
Sure.
quality
Yeah.
and accessories and
Yeah.
who's selling it. Like some jabroni could have a complete
Does
one.
she have both shoes type shit like
I mean,
that?
but they don't come with shoes to
what-
replace.
what-
But you know,
Sorry, yeah. How'd I know as I was saying it that you were going to correct me about the accessories?
Yeah. I fucking love Ghostbusters.
I know it.
I don't remember what I was going to fucking say, though, and I had something to go on, too. Another rant about something or another.
Yeah, let me just point out he was worried about my momentum.
Your energy?
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Well, you brought it.
By being a smart ass at the very beginning.
I know. It's awesome. It's
Kicked it right
fantastic,
out.
dude. It totally
Kicked
works.
it into gear.
So you never played the video games, right? The early Nintendo games?
I did.
Did
Oh,
you?
yeah.
How
Yeah,
annoying was that Nintendo game?
Super annoying.
When you're like, you jump to the fucking apartment and you have to like go up all the stairs.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to navigate and not get caught by a ghost.
Well, and that was one of those games that I rented, so I really only
Same.
had a few days to play.
And then you give up on the first
yeah,
day.
it was like, fuck this.
See, that's why I love the Angry Video Game Nerd, because he beat it. So I get to watch him play it.
Yeah, I think I
don't have
watched
to-
part of that.
Yeah, I don't have
Part
to
of
do that shit. There was a really good game that came out in like 2008 or 9. It was on the 360 and the PS3. And what it was you're a rookie. You're like a new recruit. And it's the 3 originals, not Winston, and voiced by Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Bill Murray, which is awesome. All a new original story. The way you run down the hallway, it looks like you're Ray running towards Peter
Nice.
in the first one.
Super cool.
In the hotel.
Huh.
It's awesome. And then you have a PKE meter, and you have to like investigate ghosts and upgrade your tools, fight Stay Puft guy. It was such a great story. I've replayed it on different consoles now.
Yeah.
Because it's so much fun, and they've remastered it, but they did this new one.
Is the game itself, I mean, would you say it's challenging?
Yeah. 100, yeah.
Because
totally.
I've noticed a lot of those games that like visually just work.
Mm-hmm.
It's lacking in like the strategic quality of a game. But like some of those, I forget the name of the software company, but they released a Back to the Future like PC solely game a few years back. Probably like 10 years ago, honestly, now at this point.
Yeah.
Telltale Games.
Oh, I hate Telltale
was
games.
the name of the thing.
They're just fucking story games. You can't. Yeah.
No, exactly. I mean, visually at the time, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Plus, it's about time we got a cool fucking Back to the Future game. And it was,
Shit.
less than certainly I cared to play.
I don't like Telltale. They're just stories. I'm not into those.
Yeah, it was like puzzle.
They really,
fucking games.
they really trick you into thinking it's going to be something it's not. I feel like,
Yeah.
but no, it's awesome. Like it's fun you have to, shoot the ghost, and then you have to wrangle it to get it into a trap.
Nice.
It's got damage meter, and you have to like increase the value of property damage, just
Cool.
like Ghostbusters.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fun. And then there's this new one that just came out called Spirits Unleashed, and it's like a 4v4, so it's only an online type of game where it's like 4 Ghostbusters versus 4 ghosts, and the 4 ghosts are other players, not NPCs. So it's like kind of like Left 4 Dead. You never played that, I'm sure.
No.
But apparently it's really good, but I'm not into those kinds of games. Like if it was a Ghostbusters game, it's got to be story. It can't just be like a 4v4 shit.
Yeah.
They did an online for the other Ghostbusters game, but all it was like who could catch the most ghosts in a match. But that's it for me.
So what are we doing? 1-star reviews?
Yeah, because who's gonna? I want to read the downright hatred for this
Yeah.
movie. Because Hey, John Wick 4 trailer just dropped.
Really?
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
it's on the front page of IMDb.
we were gonna do Pearl as well.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
And I dropped the ball. I didn't watch X.
Just totally fine because we're gonna.
But doing a reaction video to John Wick is a good little bonus we could do today.
Oh, okay.
Still squeeze something in.
Okay, what's the IMDb rating?
IMDb 6.
6.6. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Why would Rotten Tomatoes have it a 55 and like IMDb is like over? Well, I mean IMDb and that shit's different. 1 stars. There's not really many 1 stars. Surprisingly enough, but there are plenty. And there are, oh my God, this first one's like fucking 10, 15 paragraphs long.
Must be all those good vibes that came from the slime of the movie.
And it just emitted through the TV. Like, oh. Ghostbuster 2, why bother? July 3rd is when they wrote this review. Gearing up for Independence Day. Probably the worst sequel since Caddyshack 2. Ghostbuster 2 makes the viewer wonder why they sullied the reputation of the first movie to make this dog. The thin plot centers on some goo that is underneath New York and is somehow causing evil to emanate from it.
Super cool, by the way.
Yeah, it's a fucking fantastic explanation.
From the very beginning,
Yeah.
once you see the slime coming up through the cracks, it's like, yeah.
And the whole
this
way-
is shit I want to see.
The whole way the movie starts with like showing scenes of everybody being pieces of shit. And like even Egon's job is to gauge or to see if negative response has an effect in the
Right.
world around it.
Yeah, which is funny.
Yeah,
too.
it's totally awesome. So yeah, oh no, they didn't explain it at all. Fucking thin plot.
Yeah. Slime's so stupid.
Dana has a son, and he is a necessary part of a long-dead prince's plan to come back to life on Earth. The Ghostbusters go from being out of business to back in business to stop this evil prince. The movie is I mean, that just sounds like a fucking great movie.
It does.
I mean, that sounds like you just explained a good movie.
Yeah.
The movie is full of filler. The court scene and the obligatory ghosts are absurd to say the least. They don't look like humans, yet the judge quickly identifies them, and is so bad that I would have turned it off halfway through if I had been watching it by myself. But since I had company, I couldn't be a complete dickhead. Simply dreadful. Oh, I hate when people like say that.
Yeah, see that now that sounds like some typical critic thing. I fucking hate that too, especially the positive ones where it's like an exhilarating fucking mind trip of a whatever.
But like when you look at like all the other previous statements they said, it is the kind of person that would say something like simply dreadful. Like someone who would have a Tasmanian devil tattoo from Looney Tunes would say stupid shit like that. Like, I put punctuation in the wrong spot. And then they try to be all fucking poetic. And it's simply dreadful. Anyways, I'm not done yet. Avoid this movie like the plague and enjoy the original for everything that this movie is not.
Whatever. I disagree.
I
think they did a great job. I mean, it was two same writers, right?
Yeah,
Dan
yeah.
Aykroyd and what's his name?
Ramis.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. January 15th, 2010. 1 star. Complete remake of the original movie. One of the worst sequels ever made. Only the second X-File movie is an even bigger piece of crap than this. Weaver is not a sexy female lead. I beg to differ.
Me too.
beg to differ.
Me too.
Have you seen Alien? She is too Okay, I'm gonna give this a fucking disclaimer. This is written by one of these kinds of people. It's almost as if this movie. I want to see if they wrote a review for the lady remake version of this movie.
Ooh, yeah, you can see all the reviews they've written, can't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see if they're worth it.
She is too tall, and she has a boyish body and a deep voice.
Fuck this reviewer.
Oh my! I mean, I would almost say the Sigourney Weaver might have been that first crush, like that first
No shit.
early crushes
Wow.
I had growing
Wow.
up. Yeah.
It definitely didn't sit that way with me. I find her more attractive now as an adult than ever before. But as you and I mentioned in a previous podcast, fucking Aliens and Ghostbusters is about all I have when it comes to referencing Sigourney Weaver.
Cabin in the Woods, dude.
Yeah.
She's the CEO. It's fucking rad. Yeah. Have you seen that movie?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
No.
You got to watch that movie. I got to let you borrow that.
Yeah.
Bill Murray looks bored and asleep throughout the whole movie. The romantic scenes are obnoxious, as well as Bill Murray's scenes with the baby. I thought his scenes with the baby were fun. I think his interactions with the child that wasn't his it was funny. Like, he accepted that baby because it's Dana's.
And when does he not look bored?
Yeah.
And that's Bill Murray's whole
The
shtick.
The effects are at least better in the original. Al through that sucks too. Although simply dreadful.
Yeah.
A sequel clearly made only for the money, and now Hollywood dishes out a remake with an all-female cast. This has worst idea ever written all over it. I would ask why, but the answer is obviously that they have run out of ideas and think they can make money of the original.
Well, what a misogynistic asshole. I would
Okay,
say.
here you go. One more, and then we're done. This is written in. This person's name is Milliken, like the town in Colorado. April 4th, 2000. Absolutely terrible. Leprechaun 5 in the Hood is such a better movie than Ghostbusters 2.
Whoa.
What's with these dorky, pointless villains? Vigo, for crying out loud? The ending's terrible. We can save the city with positive energy. How stupid. Some of the Ghost and the Titanic are pretty cool, I guess, but it's not nearly as funny or entertaining as the original. Oh, well.
How stupid, showing the population that positive energy could be a good thing.
Yeah. I do think it's funny that the Ghostbusters didn't defeat Vigo, but the citizens of New York basically did by singing outside of the museum.
Right.
They're the ones that really saved the day.
Kind of
and-
like in Santa Claus when they sing to, get the sleigh.
Oh,
going
yeah,
again.
yeah. That's Elf, not Santa Claus.
Oh, what the fuck?
Jesus
All right.
Christ.
God damn it.
Tell
you
you-
and your Christmas movies.
Tell you,
Fuck
tell you.
off.
Oh, my God. I can't wait for Christmas Story.
Yeah, you looking forward to it?
Yeah, so we can.
Our biggest fan
Do
the
it.
other day brought it up to me
Who's that?
at work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm stretching.
Yeah, you are. That was a nice stretch.
All right, so next week we're going to do.
It'll be
Pearl?
out by then, won't it?
What?
Christmas story?
Yeah, that will be out by next weekend. So maybe we should just do that. Wait, no, next weekend. It's out on the 18th. Next Friday. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So if we'll do it later. I want to watch Pearl.
I know you do.
All right.
I know you do. You just felt the need to bring it up once more.
Yeah,
didn't
one
you?
more time. We're
I
doing
already
Pearl next week. We're
apologized.
doing Pearl next week. Fucking dying to see this movie. X is so good. If you haven't seen it, people, please watch it. It's so all right.
No,
So
I
good.
haven't watched it yet either.
So fucking good. All right, follow us on Instagram at HeyBase. That's my old podcast.
Oh my god.
At Sequilibrium Podcast. Follow that shit on all the platforms. Like, review, submit, all that fucking shit.
Please do.
Thank you. What the hell? I'm going to end it. Simply dreadful. Growing up, did you ever feel that Ghostbusters was pretty much the you weren't going to get any better than that movie as far as comedy goes?
No.
Like, it almost became The Weekend at Bernie's 2, where you just compare it to everything. Like, this isn't as funny as Ghostbusters.
No, because I never had that real deep love for Ghostbusters like it seemed like everyone else did.
Oh my God.
That was born in the 80s.
This is interesting Really?
I'm not saying it was bad, or
Well, of
I thought
course
it
not,
was
of course not, of
bad,
course not.
or it's just I get it because I'm that way with Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But I see somebody who's transformed their car into
The Ghostbuster car, Ecto-1.
and it blows my mind because I've never been that type of fan.
So, like there's those, like, I think like the 501st Legion. It's like the dudes who, it's like a club and you dress up like stormtroopers and you go to fucking hospitals and, ceremonies, whatever. There are Ghostbuster groups like that. There are people who dress up like Ghostbusters and they go to, hospitals and events at like places like Totally 80s Pizza, I mean, we've all seen the Jurassic Park vans, but I don't think fucking people are going out dressed like the dude from Jurassic Park digging up bones.
You just got to get a decal for that.
Yeah, that's all you need. Oh, I got a Jeep and a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex decal. I love Jurassic Park.
I could turn my Toyota Corolla into a
Yeah,
Jurassic Park.
Yeah. But it fucking takes effort to turn your Subaru Forester into a fucking Ecto-1. I mean, yeah, there's DeLoreans, but no one's fucking driving around with DeLoreans with a fucking Mr. Fusion in the back, stopping at a 7-Eleven.
I would, though.
Buying some Miller High Life to fucking throw it in there just so you can get to where you need to go.
I would just for gags. That would be great.
I mean, yeah, that would be dope. But like, Ghostbusters for me was just full of like those one-liners that I would say. I mean, there's a podcast that I've never listened to, but it's a page I follow on Instagram because it's Ghostbusters and Toy Base. It's called Yes, Have Some, which is one of my favorite Ghostbuster lines is when Lewis looks to Egon Egon after they said to have some coffee and they go, yes, have some. And he's like, yes, have some. So fucking funny, dude. I was at a comic book convention in Chicago, and it's the last day, and I'm fucking hungover from the night before, and I'm leaving halfway through the event, and I walk past a dude dressed like Louis Tully being questioned by Egon. So he has like the half tucked in shirt, he's got the fucking strainer attached to his head, and he's holding a coffee pot.
Nice.
Ghostbusters, man. It created this whole fucking just like, yeah, dude. Welcome to Sequilibrium.
Hey.
My name's Mike.
Chad.
And today we're doing something special. We're doing Ghostbusters Afterlife. And Chad just wanted to do like a quick little 20-minute banger on Afterlife, but I just wanted to do a Ghostbusters episode. Not necessarily the first one, but like 2 Who Answer the Call and Afterlife. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, I love Ghostbusters so much that I have so much to like talk about.
Seeing had I have known... Maybe that's the reason. Had I have known, I would have watched the first one again. I would have watched the second one again.
I mean, I haven't seen the second one in several years.
And
there's a reason because of that.
Yeah. I just watched the new one.
Yeah, Afterlife. You just watched Afterlife for the first time.
For the first time a few days ago. And I think your opinion, my opinion, are going to differ a bit on this movie.
Okay, we'll start with Afterlife, but also I just want to ask you this question, and this is not just you, this is for the listeners too. Have you ever heard of the podcast My Favorite Murder?
No.
Okay, it's a podcast where they discuss, I mean, we all love true crime, so they all discuss these crazy murders. They hide the gory details because they think it's, people don't want to hear that. But listen, if you're listening to a podcast about murder, you want to hear the fucking details. But anyways, the effort that they put into this show has like greatly declined with their rise of success. So they started doing episodes like I Survived. That doesn't make sense for a podcast about my favorite murder.
Right.
So I'm asking if doing a part 3 or an Afterlife episode, like with Ghostbusters, being that it's not Ghostbusters 2, is this like My Favorite Murder doing an I Survived episode? I'm just wondering.
Interesting.
I'm just wondering because that does set the tone. Is 2 the sequel, or is Afterlife a sequel to 2? Or is Afterlife not even a sequel? It's just a completely different movie.
Right. That's where I think the question lies.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's a sequel.
I say it's a sequel too because it's a continuation of the story.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if 2 never happened.
That's what I was thinking.
There's no fucking references to Vigo. Where the fuck is Lewis? Oh, wait, no, I know where he is. He's taking care of his children because Rick Moranis is a good dad. Do you know about that, right?
I don't know.
His wife passed away, and so he quit acting so he can raise his children.
Oh, is that the reason?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I think that's pretty amazing of him. You know, he's come back to do a couple things here and there.
Yeah.
But not seeing him in Afterlife was a little upsetting because 2 had that scene where Lewis and Janine are sitting on the couch babysitting baby Oscar. And she's like, I want to have a baby. And he's like, now?
Yeah.
And then she like throws her leg over him and they start making out. And then she puts him in the Ghostbusters suit and he's like, I was made for this. Fucking love that. So you would assume that he would have showed up with her, or her name wouldn't have been Janine. What was her fucking last name? Melvitz or something like that.
Yeah.
As much as I love it, I don't know her last name. Like, how shitty is that? But like, not Janine Tully. Like that they would have gotten married. The idea you got from it was that 2 never happened, and that Janine and Egon had this relationship together, which they did in the first one.
Yeah. You think Rick Moranis
Got approached?
Oh, surely he was approached. And you would think, okay, he's raising his kids, and that's great.
They're older
But you
now.
think he could have brought him along? He could have made some kind of cameo in the movie that really would have given it that extra little...
Or just a sign for an accounting firm owned by
Right.
Lewis Tully.
Yeah, sure.
You know, something like that.
Yeah. You think we'll get a Honey, I Raised the Kids here in the near future?
That sounds like a wonderful zombie movie. I killed the kids while you were on vacation. How the fuck am I going to do this? There's no sour Indian burial ground behind my house. I'll learn how to reanimate flesh. That would be a great fucking movie.
I'm down. Let's watch it.
I just referenced Pet Sematary, so maybe we should watch Pet Sematary 2 with Edward Furlong
that's a good one.
somewhere down the future. But yeah, like some nod would have been fucking cool. But why don't you tell me about your experience? I've been going on and on and on.
Is there a question as to which Edward Furlong movie is the best? I think.
The Second Crow.
Yeah.
Wait, no, he wasn't in The Second Crow. He
wasn't
was in
him?
The Third Crow with Tara Reid.
Oh, who's in the second one? Do you remember?
Iggy Pop was the bad guy, and it was just some other guy.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, so Ghostbusters, how did Afterlife make you feel?
Nostalgic,
Totally.
which is great, which
Yeah.
is what I was going into it for. That's why I was so excited to see it.
I'll tell you what, I think that was the intention of the movie.
Oh, of course. Total fan service throughout the entire film.
100%. But I didn't think about it when I was watching it.
Right. I just accepted it. You just go with it. And it's great. And the acting, I thought, was great.
Mm-hmm.
The mom, I love the mom. As much as you didn't like the mom,
I was
you
going to
loved
say,
the mom.
I actually could have given a fuck less about the
No.
mom.
I
I mean, she was only there just to be a terror dog.
Yeah.
The only reason why she was there. We're never going to see her again. And if we see her again in the next one, it's going to be like Jar Jar Binks in Attack of the Clones. He's barely in that fucking movie.
Yeah.
So she's barely going to be in the next one.
I love those characters, though, that can make me love and hate them at the same time. And she did that with her
Like
acting
Skylar in
that
Breaking
role.
Bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you feel so bad for hating such a person who's like trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Total fanfare, total lip service type of thing. Like it was Force Awakens. But like at the same time, like think about it. Okay, so they brought back, it was all like Gozer, obviously. I mean, obviously. It's all basically the first Ghostbusters movie. But it closed the door on Gozer, almost literally. Like, we're never going to hear Gozer ever again. But, like, in those last few Star Wars, I mean, it was just, you know, same fucking shit all over again with the new First Order.
Yeah.
And so, like, now this one, it's like, okay, now we're done with Gozer. Now we can move on to the next one, and I hope they fucking do Sam Hain. Did you ever watch the cartoon?
Mm-mm.
So there was this like the spirit of Halloween basically, and like he was fucking killing all these ghosts and killing Slimer, and like This is from the cartoon, so the real Ghostbusters had to save Slimer. But he was such a scary character. He was like this pumpkin head, like in this Grim Reaper type of shroud. It was fucking awesome. It was really cool. But that, they connected the cartoon, or not the cartoon, but more like the toy line to this one. So you remember when you saw that fucking eyeball shoot out of that building, and then like the ghost came into it? That was a toy. Yeah. From the Kenner toy line in the 80s, where like you like fucking slapped your hand and the eyeball popped out.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So it was like all these like really cool nods. And like, how did Paul Rudd make you feel as the Louis Tully character?
I didn't. Yeah.
I mean, right? Isn't it like that was like while I was watching the movie, I'm like, that's Ray, that's Louis Tully. Like just which character is supposed to be playing the originals,
right.
Out of like personality and like podcast. Total fucking Ray.
Yeah. Totally
Ray. I love you're my one subscriber.
Yeah.
Who's our one subscriber?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about it when I was watching it when he's like, yeah, the show didn't pick up until the 46th episode, so I'm kind of waiting until we get to the 46th episode, and then maybe we'll get some fanfare from people.
What did you release this last week? I didn't.
Grease 2.
Oh,
yeah.
Grease 2.
Yeah. So this will be next.
Yeah. Well, we're well on our way then.
I know.
Grease 2 out there.
We got fucking numbers.
Yeah.
We got numbers.
When the Busters showed up at the end, though, gosh, what a moment.
I cried super hard.
Did you?
I cried so hard when Phoebe is using the proton pack, and she's fucking shooting it, and she's having a hard time fighting back. And then fucking Egon comes in, and he puts his hand on it and helps raise it. Dude, I just started fucking bawling.
Tell me this, okay? And maybe I just don't understand. Why didn't Egon get sucked in
to the ghost
as well?
Oh. I don't know. He wasn't over it. That's the thing. You have to be over the trap.
Oh, well, it seemed like it was pulling him in from every direction, though.
Well, they had traps all over the place. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to have to go. I've watched it 2 weeks ago, so I'm going to have to watch it again to remember that a little bit better.
Because, I thought that was the whole point. There were so many of them that it was just fucking the force was pulling him in from all over town.
I mean, I don't know. Now you're finding the fucking flaw in it, and I don't want to see it.
In the one moment that made you
cry.
Yeah.
So when the Ghostbusters showed up, this is something that's going to tie into what I want to say about Answer the Call.
Okay.
Did you ever watch Answer the Call?
No.
That's the one with Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. Never saw that one. No. The female Ghostbusters.
I watched part of it.
Okay. So Pete Venkman shows up and he's like, hey, I'm from Home Office. So in the first movie, Peter's not in it for the science. Peter's in it for the money. And he keeps saying, he just said to Ray once, the franchise rights will make us rich beyond our dreams.
Yeah. That's
okay.
Great.
So here's Answer the Call. Ghostbusters, but a completely new universe. Nobody wanted that. Everyone has wanted Ghostbusters 3 since Ghostbusters 2. Bill Murray is the reason why Ghostbusters 3 has never happened and like finally has come to this because he's his own agent. He didn't want to do the movie. And so they did this whole new storyline, and people were all up in arms. I personally loved the fact that females were Ghostbusters. I thought it was so fucking cool.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Especially that fucking cast. They're so funny, and that's what Ghostbusters is a comedy. But they could have franchised it. You know what I mean? Because the whole thing, they mentioned it in this one, Home Office. First one, franchise rights. So my idea for Answer the Call is Kristen Wiig's a kid in New York City when Gozer happens. Her parents are like, let's get the fuck out of here. This shit's crazy. Moves her to the West Coast. She grows up loving ghosts, paranormal, all this fucking shit. Ghost stuff starts happening, much like Paul Rudd doing the whole seismic graphs, doing his whole investigation. This is odd. This shouldn't be happening. Blah, blah, blah. And then she finds more like-minded friends who are into this shit. And then, oh my God, when I was a kid, this shit went down. There's these guys, blah, blah, blah. Finds them on the internet, blah, blah, blah. Creates a franchise. Boom, there you go. Same fucking universe. New cast being trained by the old cast.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
I'd say so.
I mean, now I love Answer the Call. I watched it in the theaters, and I had my issues. Like everybody else did. But then when I watched it again, I'm like, this is actually really funny.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch it again.
It's great. I mean, Channing Tatum, they made Channing Tatum be the Janine, and they made him be super fucking stupid. Super stupid.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like picking up a fork and asking if it's a spatula kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And I don't think Janine ever was treated that way. I think, in fact, Janine was probably a very powerful character.
Yeah,
she
think
helped
so.
Egon along the way. You know, she was kind of like a Ghostbuster herself. And in fact, she was in the toy line. They actually made Janine be a Ghostbuster.
Was that your favorite moment in the film? Was at the end when he helped her?
Phoebe in Afterlife when Egon helped her.
Yep.
Of course, you know, you had the original guys come back, so it was so cool. And like when Gozer's like, "Are you a god?" and they're like, "Come on, Ray, you know what the answer."
Yeah.
I thought that was really fucking cool. But
You have a close second?
I mean, probably when they were chasing that like ghost that was eating everything, and Phoebe's sitting in the chair.
The gunner? Oh, yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
and she was just so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, what a great role model for young girls like that.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who's like me with a daughter has now has this fucking character that they can be like, all right, for Halloween, I'll be Peter and you can be Phoebe. Or I'll be Egon and you can be Phoebe.
Yeah.
So fucking cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So like, I mean, how did you watch it with your girls?
I did. All three of them.
How did they feel?
They saw it in the theater, actually, two of them.
Oh, did they?
So my oldest and we watched it for the first time, and they had already seen it, the other two. But they all really like it.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's not like, again, I was never a Ghostbusters fan. I've watched Ghostbusters with them before, but it's not something I've played out. You know, if I'm like, hey, let's watch Back to the Future, they're like,
Again?
fuck.
How many fucking times do we have to watch this bullshit? How many times am I going to have to watch Marty almost fuck his mom? So, okay, if you weren't like a big Ghostbusters fan, the scene at the end when Dana was doing the psychic test on Peter, how did that, like, what kind of feelings did you have at that?
I mean, other than thinking it was pretty cool, no feelings at all.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. I was so excited. That was like
Yeah.
the best fucking part of the Ghostbusters, the first movie where he's like, fucking electric. I didn't know you were going to give me electric shock.
Yeah.
You can keep the $5. I will, mister. I thought it was fucking great, dude. I thought it was so funny. It was perfect. It was like every single thing in that movie was a nod to the first one. And it was great. But where were the nods to the second one? Where, you know,
It's probably best though, right? You didn't want it to feel crammed.
like,
or-
yeah. Just so much saturated of just 1 and 2 that it didn't have its own legs to stand on.
Yeah.
I mean, but still, where's the Vigo painting somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
It should have been like, a little Easter egg at least.
or the slime, a mention of like, oh, this one time in New York, the slime, like they only watched the scene of them coming down from the apartments covered in marshmallow. There wasn't the fucking Statue of Liberty got up and walked on its own and smashed the roof of this fucking museum. Where's the YouTube clip on that they could have watched?
Yeah, you didn't want too many clips either, though.
I mean, I would have wanted that shit. That fucking pulling out a Nintendo fucking power pad thing to fucking control it. They use the slime on the limbs to. I mean, come on.
I mean, maybe,
dude.
but they would have to increase the runtime as well.
I mean,
Keep
I would
me
have been
satisfied.
fine with a fucking 3-hour Ghostbuster movie. Just like I would have been fine going to a theater and sat for 4.5 hours for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I mean, your market are the fans, not the fucking people around the fans. So like, shouldn't your product be geared towards those people? If you're in it for the art, if you're in it for the money, you just slap a fucking Ghostbuster sticker on it, being like, someone will recognize it, and or no, everyone will recognize it.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of breath.
If you could have one replica from the movie, what would it be?
A prop?
Yep. One replica prop.
I mean, if the easiest and the stupidest answer is a proton pack.
Yeah.
Duh. But what I would really want is a petri dish full of ectoplasm.
Oh.
Always my fucking favorite part of the movie.
Yeah?
When fucking Egon's like, hey, Ray, Peter, get a sample for me. Somebody blows their nose and you want to keep it? And he's all, nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Egon, your mucus. And then the fucking bookcase falls over. I love that movie, dude. First time this happened to you?
Yeah.
One time I was on the school bus and this girl that I was sitting with got off and I go, no kiss, like Peter did to Dana.
Nice. How'd that work out?
Same way.
Yeah.
She shoved my face out of the way. I come home from my work to my work, and all I have is more work. What were we talking about again? A prop, yeah. Petri dish, proton pack, probably the deck of cards, Tobin's Spirit Guide, Egon's PKE meter.
See, I would have said proton pack earlier in my life, but now being at the age that I am, thinking about the space that I have, the time I have left on Earth, I'd say a trap would probably be the one.
A ghost, something so small.
A ghost trap. Yeah, I could tuck away somewhere, pull out, and be like, "Hey, look what I got! I got this trap."
If I had a proton pack, I'd wear it everywhere I fucking went. What are you holding that thing?
Car.
Nothing. In fact, it's causing me back problems, but how fucking cool is this? And then I'd pull it up. Fucking blowing shit over. The hell was that? I'd say that was a successful test. To quote Ghostbusters again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2, though, it was great having that it existed. It was really funny. Peter doing the psychic show. Them having to get back together again. Mm-hmm. I really liked it. I did not like Janine's change in like, who are we going to call? Mm-hmm. She didn't sound like that in the first one.
Right.
She had that accent, but it was like almost as if they were making fun of her accent.
Yeah.
And I don't like her like art style look versus the, kind of, I play racquetball myself, kind of like conservative type of person that she was. I mean, and then I loved Louis Tully working for them. I love that he was back, being their fucking lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you don't want us exposing ourselves.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I don't think you should blame my clients for the blackout. I was trapped on an elevator for 2 hours and I had to go the whole time. But I don't blame them. Very good, Louis. Pointless, but very good. Yeah, I mean, Ghostbusters 2 had its moments for sure, but I'm definitely glad that it really wasn't pushed on this movie. It would have probably pushed people away. So hindsight.
Yeah. This might be a stupid question, but which do you like more? Do you like Ghostbusters or do you like Afterlife?
Ghostbusters.
So any day of the week, you would prefer throwing Ghostbusters in?
Oh yeah. I mean, doing housework, playing on my computer, background noise, or actually just sitting watching it. I mean, Ghostbusters on a continuous loop is fine with me.
Ghostbusters is a 10 for you, I take it.
100%.
100%.
There's nothing wrong with that movie at all.
Okay.
I mean, it's fucking awesome.
And where would you put Afterlife?
8.
8?
I mean, if it was an original story, keeping with Egon and the other guys, but just not Gozer. Uh-huh. Like, if they treated Gozer being finished in the first Ghostbusters movie, right? And then Egon went crazy because something else was happening, and he left. Difference. That would have been an original story, still introducing new characters, but they had to use familiarity to jumpstart the franchise again, because they waited so long to do Ghostbusters 3. They now have to do a whole new clan.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why it would be an 8. Had it been an original story, I think it would have been a 10. And then Ghostbusters 2 is like a 6.
Yeah.
And the only reason why it's a 6 is because, yes, it is funny, and it does have my favorite guys in it. And that's it. Story-wise, the story is pretty good. The Carpathian painting. His name is Vigo. You are like the buzzing of flies to him.
I might have seen the second one more than I saw the first one.
Probably because it was like an 88 release. You were older. There was more. I mean, for me, the Nintendo reference was really kind of like neat seeing the Nintendo Power Pad in it.
Yeah.
The Statue of Liberty walking was really fucking cool. I really didn't like the jokes so much. I didn't like Lewis so much as I liked him in the first one, in the second one, as a kid. And I don't think I mean, I think it's cool that he got the Ghostbuster outfit, and he thought he took the slime down off the museum.
Yeah.
Everyone's fucking cheering for him, and he's like, yeah, that was me. I fucking did it.
Yeah.
But I like Lewis a lot more in the first one. Him, the scaredy cat, Maybe if we start dancing, other people will.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking awesome, man. It was great. Love Ghostbusters.
There have been plenty of times my daughter and I, Mila, will be driving around and we'll just start playing the Ghostbusters theme song. Yeah.
Wait, no, that's the real Ghostbusters. Wait, is it the... Yeah, that's the cartoon theme song.
And even after I put her to bed the other night, after we watched it, I was walking up the stairs and she's like, "Who you gonna call?"
Oh my god, that's so fucking awesome.
Ghostbusters!
Bustin' makes me feel good. Bustin' does make me feel good. How did you feel about the cartoon? Did you like it?
It was fine. I didn't watch it that much.
No,
not at all.
Oh,
Maybe a couple times.
Really?
Yeah.
First toy I got was Egon. I remember my cousin got it for me for my birthday. Yeah. And then after that, I got them all. And then I got Stay Puft, and then an Ecto-1. Never had the Firehouse, but I do now. I have the Firehouse now. One time, I was out playing Ghostbusters out in the front yard. My uncle was using our patio or our carport to have like a garage sale. And I go inside, and I come back, and I'm like, where the fuck's my Ecto-1? I talked like that when I was a kid. And my Uncle Mike was like, oh, I sold it. Who the fuck gave you permission to sell my toy?
I remember you telling me that. That one cut deep.
Still, clearly, because I've told you it before. I was very upset about that. But I'm glad that you watched Ghostbusters Afterlife. Did you rent it?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Should have told me. I would have let you borrow it.
Yeah, no, I wanted to watch it again the other day too before that rental ended, just to
really get it in
see
again.
Because I would give it a 6 or a 7.
Oh yeah, I should have asked you. I'm sorry. Why 6 or 7?
I don't know. I liked it, but rewatchability is what I'm basing that on.
Yeah.
Like, how many times could I go back and watch this movie?
I'm gonna watch.
Sure, it was wildly entertaining.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. But again, I only watched it the one time, so I'd probably rest it a 7.
I'll let you borrow it when you're ready to watch it again.
Got it.
Yeah. More on that kid, the podcast kid. I fucking love that kid. I think he's gonna be even funnier in the next one. I hope they keep going. I really, really hope they keep going, because I mean it's a great franchise with a new good cast.
See, and I fall on the other side of the fence.
You don't want
I
you
hope
done
they stop.
one and done
because they did such a great job. You know,
Yeah.
let's ride off into the sunset.
I mean, dude, there's so much they could really do.
Yeah.
There's so much they could really do.
yeah.
And the Stranger Things kid kind of annoyed the shit out of me.
Did he?
Yeah. I don't know why. I was just like, God, this kid's so fucking annoying.
There wasn't too much to him.
No, there wasn't, and I think that could be why.
Yeah.
It was really geared towards the little kids.
Because
And,
I would rather the girl have uncovered the Ecto-1.
and then him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Ecto-1.
Oh, no.
How the fuck is it running like that?
yeah. There's some
driving-
things that don't need to be explained.
He's driving through this field as if he just drove it off this fucking mechanic's lot who fucking souped it up.
Yeah.
What the fuck does he know about
Right.
fixing fucking cars? Oh, I found these old school Home Depot fucking mechanic books that Grandpa had or
Yeah.
some shit.
Let alone an Ecto-1.
I know.
Yeah.
And also, come on, Winston. Why do you feel so heartfelt about Ecto-1? Like, my baby, Ray's the one who fucking worked on it. Ray's the one who fucking bought it. Ray's the one who fucking knew all the problems with it. Hey, you can't park that here. It was also one of my favorite parts. You know, like, I mean, I'm fucking stoked that they made Winston be this fucking entrepreneur guy who's like doing good things, you know, paying Ray's rent. One of these days he'll turn a profit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, how the fuck was that car running like that? How 15-year-old fucking kid, how does he know how to drive it like Don from fucking Fast and the Furious? And his sister's hanging out of the fucking door, and he's just fucking Tokyo drifting it through this tiny ass town.
Don't get me wrong, the joyride through that field
It was awesome.
That was all super cool.
So cool. That's just the sake of argument. That's just the sake to fill time.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I'm bitching
Yeah.
on. But yeah, God, so good though.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
But the girl, my favorite character, I would say.
Phoebe,
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
She was awesome. How smart. I mean, clearly she is Egon's relative, which, and I love the whole guiding her into the basement.
The chessboard.
The
that was
chessboard,
great.
yeah. Oh my God. Now I'm going to watch it again for more just emotional value rather than excitement. I should pull up what shitty people had to say about the movie. Shouldn't I?
Yeah, I think.
Is that about that time? Is it the time for some IMDb? Reading some IMDb. So the IMDb average is 7.2 out of 10. That's almost what you would expect, you know what I mean, from a fanfare kind
Sure.
of movie.
Yeah.
Not like a full-blown, I mean, rotten fresh for sure, but not
Yeah.
like 100.
I would, yeah. Yeah, sounds about right.
Painfully unfunny, horrible, yuck.
This is a 1?
This is a 1 star written on Christmas morning. Woke up. I've been waiting to say this shit.
Yeah.
This movie script should have been used for toilet paper. Whoever thought this would be something that fans of the classic original want to see? That's a question? That was a question. It's like an extended Stranger Things episode and the new It movies combined with Paul Rudd's unfunny humor and a, hey, remember this from the original gag that is painful to watch.
Yeah, that's
It's
exactly what it is,
everything
and
you
it's
never
great.
wanted to see. It's everything I wanted to see. Fuck you. Here you go. Here's a lengthy one. That's as lengthy as I'd get. 1 out of 10.
That's what she said.
All nostalgia, no substance. Overplayed magic shots constantly of stuff from the first movie. It's not funny even though they attempt the comedy of the first. All the characters are bland and had nothing to do. All the logic of this movie is insanely stupid. Plus the third act is the same of the first, plus same villain. How lazy. How lazy is your fucking writing? Jesus Christ. You know, proofread your shit before you bitch about other people's writing. And hearkening back into my first point, it feels like they missed the whole point of Ghostbusters. It's not magical or emotional at all. It was a massively sarcastic movie about three schlubly people that went to start a business that made fun of itself practically all the time because it knew it was stupid, but very smartly written. That's what makes it so hilarious. God, it's so painful reading these reviews sometimes. I mean, seriously, the people who write these are the same people who are on like right-wing fucking pages on the internet, and it's just full of grammatical error. And it's like, who are you speaking to?
Yeah.
This film seems to think it's E.T. too. It's cringy and emotionally manipulative. Unless you're a man baby, you should be angry at this lazy, schmaltzy cash grab. I guess I'm not a real man. This is the kind of guy who's like, I don't know what I was going to say. Because what the fuck are you crying about?
Yeah.
Unless you're a man baby. Oh, I'm sorry. I cried when Egon showed up because it was an amazing thing. Like, I mean, yeah, it was made for the fans. Bringing these guys back. Literally fucking, I mean, I'm sure most of the fucking film's budget went to making this person look like Egon.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Dude, how great did Egon look?
Looked so good.
I mean, it was like Harold Ramis was fucking there.
That was the most shocking part about the movie to me. It was how good they made him look.
It was way better than Leia in Rogue One.
Yeah.
I thought. I mean, shit. Yeah. It was perfect.
I can't go off that reference because I have no fucking idea when it comes to Star Wars.
Oh.
But I can imagine what you're talking about.
Is Rogue One a sequel to Star Wars? Yeah, it was, I mean, that shit was fucking great. I mean, they had to put it in there. There's not a single diehard Ghostbusters fan that hates that shit.
Well, and here's the thing. Had it not have looked as good as it did, it would have made the other three guys being in the film not as great.
Right, yeah.
But because he looked so good,
Yeah.
it was like, so it melted your fucking heart.
And I love how he didn't speak. Because,
Yes.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Right.
You can't have that Egon. No one can match that Egon voice,
Yeah.
that Harold Ramis voice. So I thought that was pretty awesome, where it was just like, he's a ghost. You can't speak to the living.
Agreed.
You know,
Yeah.
even though that one ghost in the first one shushed them, and that one ghost gave Ray a blowjob.
That's right.
Did you know that was played by Dan Aykroyd's wife? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I highly recommend every single person who listens to this episode, all one of you, listen to the MC Chris songs about Ghostbusters because they're fucking rad. And my favorite one is Louis Tully's song. CPA, every day I really want to do your taxes. It's so much fun. I mean, after I went and saw Afterlife, I listened to every single one of the Ghostbusters songs over and over and over again because it's just so fucking good. The references are really funny for the songs. Like Ray's song is called Listen, Do You Smell Something? I love that fucking line when he's like, listen, do you smell something? Before a ghost traps, my plan was just get her. Yeah. Do you think this was, have you seen interviews with Bill Murray? Do you feel like this was just a payday for him? I'm sure it was. I'm sure he had fun with it though, but I'm sure it was just a payday for him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at that age, yeah, of course it's going to be, you know, I think. I mean, if I were in Bill Murray's shoes, I would be stoked. Ghostbusters 3 would have happened in 1992. I don't know what your fucking problem is. You're doing shit like, what about Bob and fucking, what's that one with the elephant that was at Johnston's Corner over here? The one where he had to deliver the elephant. I can't remember what that fucking movie's called.
I don't remember.
Oh, God. It was his dad's who passed away. He was a circus clown. What the fuck was it called? Oh. Anyways, he's doing all these fucking movies in the 90s that he could have been doing Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have been doing, like, Change Up was great. I thought that movie was funny, or Quick Change. where he was like the clown robbing the bank.
Well, even Groundhog Day.
Even Groundhog
Right.
Day, yeah. But
Yeah.
still, Ghostbusters 3, dude. Why would you fucking sell yourself short? That was like, who wouldn't want to run around with a proton pack pretending to kill ghosts? Or not kill ghosts, but trap ghosts.
Broken Flowers was really good.
Oh, I never saw that. I really wanted to. You know what's other Bill Murray movie that was really good is St. Augustine.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw that one.
I think it's called St. Augustine. It's the one where he was like basically like a asshole, but he made friends with this little.
that one.
Yeah, yeah, right. Pick one. He made friends with this kid. Melissa McCarthy is in it. It's like a dark comedy. It's really good. Not really a dark comedy. Dark comedy is like very bad things, not like a fucking heartfelt kind of. He's a heartfelt bastard. It's like Bad Santa.
Yeah.
And my friend Brad started a band, and they called themselves Heartfelt Bastards because of Bad Santa, because he's a heartfelt bastard. He always does the good thing at the end. All right, you got anything else you want to say about Ghostbusters?
No,
No, that
I
was
don't
good.
think so.
I told you we'd do a full episode on it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I do want to say
Yeah.
thank you, Mike.
For what?
Thank you for wanting to start this podcast.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for doing it with me.
Because, I mean, I got to admit, when you first mentioned it to me, I'm like, oh, okay, let's get together and start a podcast.
We'll
buddy.
do that.
And it was that second episode I had that seizure. It was almost like I was being tested
Yeah.
as far as my will to do the show. And it's really something I look forward to.
Nice. I do
Yeah.
too. I just have so much fun talking about movies with you.
I was also thinking that a horror film should be made starring you
Mm-hmm.
called Snow
Oh.
or Icy Roads.
And it's just me on the road fucking white knuckling it the whole time. It's like that Steven Spielberg movie, the one where that like The Duel. Did you ever see The Duel?
No.
It's this
I don't
road,
think I
this
did.
on the road salesman guy, and he pisses off this trucker, and he just stalks him this entire time. And he's like, "What do you want?" That's me on the road, and it's me versus the ice. And I'm like, "Chad, I don't think I can make it. It's gonna be 6 inches of snow by 3:00."
But thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Really?
Buddy. Of course. Thank you. Thank you to our listeners.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you made it to the end of this episode and you felt our heartfelt sincerity.
It was a
But
good
thank
one.
you.
It was better than I thought it would be. Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Go to Instagram, Sequilibrium_. That's our Instagram. TikTok, Sequilibrium is on there. What else do we got? Email, sequilibriumpodcast@hotmail.com.
And, you know, let us know. Let us know if this was bullshit.
Yeah.
Us doing Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Plus, let us know what you
You
think
fucking
about
sellouts.
Ghostbusters.
You were going to have that one fan.
Yeah, that's all right.
Like, fuck you guys. I was with you through Grease 2 and Teen Wolf 2. Ghostbusters Afterlife.
You lost
Sell
me.
out.
Hate that fucking movie.
Sell out.
I-
Sons of bitches.
I know we said we weren't going to plan shit, but I think we should do Texas Chainsaw Massacre next, the new one.
Okay. Let's do it.
I really want to see it, and I think we should. It's only an hour, 20-minute long movie. The first one's not very long either.
And I think maybe we should try and do Problem Child 2 with Mila.
I
my
love
daughter.
it. I love it. That's awesome.
So we'll have to find time to watch 1 and 2
Nice.
before then, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
We'll do it
The
next.
first.
We'll do it next. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Check out that shit and hit us up.
Bye.
Bye.